Hello and welcome back to my tutorial series on Crusader Kings 2. I'm your host, Imperialis, and we are continuing our reign as King Domnall of Tara as we attempt to conquer all of Ireland and incorporate it into his domain. Um, so, I happened to be on YouTube yesterday and looking around, and it turns out I've got a little bit of competition. Um, the guy who is quite arguably the single best Paradox player who puts stuff up on YouTube, a fellow by the name of Arumba, has just started his own tutorial series on Crusader Kings 2 and approaching it in much the same way that I am. He's taken over as the Count of Desmond in his game, though he is using DLC, and I'm going to continue doing this, even though there's no doubt about it, he knows much more about sort of the inner workings of the game than I do. But I'm still going to continue on with it, because, well, partially because it's fun, and partially because I think I bring a slightly different perspective to it than he does. He's a like I said, he's an exceptional player. I watched one series of his where he managed to take over all of Europe, or pretty much all of Europe, North Korea style, which basically means he did not have any vassals. So his domain was, it was something ridiculous, like 2,000 or 3,000, something ridiculous like that, the number of holdings that he had. And he went so far as to take over all of the cities and all of the bishoprics and everything like that. But like I said, I think I bring a slightly different perspective to it because he is a very gamey player. He does tend to rely a lot on exploits and a very intricate knowledge of the systems. Whereas I'm approaching it a little bit more like, say, probably your average player would. But anyhow, that's my little spiel on why I'm still worthwhile. But what were we doing? We were fabricating a claim on Ormond, which, hindsight being what it is, probably is not what I want to be having my chancellor doing right now, because if we look at my character here, you'll see I am stuck in a truce with King Murcad of Munster until the 2nd of October 1086. Because I won that last war, there was a peace treaty at the end of it, and one of the results of that peace treaty is a 10-year truce. Now, you can break truces, but generally speaking, you do not want to. It costs a massive amount of prestige. It'd probably cost more prestige than I currently have. It would also lower my relations with every other Christian nobleman, or every other Christian, by 25, which is a pretty massive hit to take with absolutely everybody around you. And then the third thing is, I believe it lowers your diplomatic skill as well. It gives you a penalty of, I believe, -5 to that, because you're known as a truce breaker, an oath breaker. So yeah, fabricating a claim on Ormond, because King Murcad is in charge there, is probably not what I want to be doing right now. Still a good place to take over, but we will be moving my chancellor elsewhere to continue his claim fabrications, which I can't do right now. I need to wait until April 30th, so I'm actually just going to let time tick up. He wants a fief of his own to govern. I'm going to say I'll mention a church career to him. How about that? And I'll show you I've got a plan for what to do about that church career as soon as this claim fabrication gets taken care of. Okay. Come on. Ah, there we go. So now I'm just going to select my Chancellor, and I'm actually going to have him fabricate a claim on Desmond. May as well secure the southern part of the island first before making my way north. Now, if you remember, just a second ago, my half-brother here was asking for a fief, and now he's very angry with me because I denied him a title twice. He has a claim on the title, all sorts of nasty stuff like that. So I need to do something about him because he also has a claim on the kingdom. I need to shuffle him off somewhere that he's not going to be a threat. And to do that, you have a rather interesting tool at your disposal. Under the Religion tab here, you'll notice that by each of my bishops, I have the option to appoint a successor. Now, this is because I have what's called free investiture, which was actually a fairly major political to-do in the 11th century, because the Pope believed that he should be in charge of appointing bishops, and the kings believed that they should be in charge of appointing bishops. So it was this whole big power struggle between the Pope and the kings about mostly, specifically the Holy Roman Emperor and the Pope, but other kings as well. But it was this big kerfuffle over who should get to be in charge of appointing bishops. But because I have free investiture, I can pick and choose who I would like to take one of these guys' place when they die. And so I'm going to look for one of my older ones here. And we'll go for, I guess, Bishop Domnall. Is he on my council? He's not on my council. So we'll go to Bishop Domnall here and we'll appoint a successor. And we'll find my younger brother, who hates my guts, and we'll appoint him as a successor. So now when Bishop Domnall dies, Donchild here will become a bishop, and that will effectively remove him from the line of succession. So, now that that's sorted out, we can start time going again. And just see what happens. Notice it looks like there's some wars going on. What's going on here? Oh, and another plague is broken out by the looks of it. Who are you fighting? Oh, of course. Not the bishop that I picked. Well, who's my new bishop? Okay, so they've already replaced him. Darn, I was hoping to be able to, if I was quick enough, get him in and appoint Donchild there. May as well send the other brothers off to church, too. There isn't really anybody else that I want to get rid of. Because, I mean, the other nice thing, too, is it lets you pick and choose. So he likes me, so he'd be worthwhile to put in. He's only 17 years old, he's content, he's got a high learning. So we'll go with that as one successor. And bishops you generally want to have high learning. And we'll put Enna in here as well. He's my uncle. Does he have any claims? No, relative. So he's got a weak claim on Leinster, but we'll still make him a bishop. Now, if they're married before they become a bishop, they stay married. But you can't appoint anyone, or you can't marry a bishop. And if they just show up, they won't be married or anything like that. But anyhow, we were looking at this. What the heck's going on here? Hostile towards Kaiser Heinrich IV of the Holy Roman Empire due to conflicting wars for the throne of the Kingdom of England. is he making a play for England? Attacking King Leofwin the Just in Second Holy Roman War for Edgar's claim on England. Who's... Who has the claim? Sometimes the continental politics can get very, very complicated. So he is... Edgar's claim on England. Who's Edgar? No. I have no idea who it is that's going to take the throne if he wins. Well, we'll see how it shakes out, I guess. Not much I can do about it, and I don't want to get dragged into that war. Yeah, you can see the Holy Roman Empire showing up here. We'll just quietly try and take over Desmond here and not get too much attention drawn to ourselves. One other thing I can do as well. Oh, here. Wow, that was quick. So 62 gold and 100 prestige. Cool. So now we have a claim on Desmond. We can go to war with Earl Tadig. Okay. Of Desmond over that. But before we do that, I wanted to show you something else here. Now, if you remember in the last episode, we looked at potentially building something in Dublin here, or in Aldcaith. And couldn't. We either couldn't afford it, or it was out of our ability to build due to technology. However, and generally speaking, whenever you want to build something, you want to focus on your capital first. But I do plan on keeping both Kildare and Leinster in my personal domain. So it makes sense to try and improve Kildare some as well. There would be very little benefit in me, for example, improving Bunratty here, because that's Earl Enna's responsibility now. And he will pay for improvements and build up his castle and stuff like that as well. But he'll do that independently of me, and so if I were to pour money into this, I wouldn't see as much of a benefit from it. Like if I improved the militia training grounds or something like that, I just wouldn't see anywhere near as much benefit. And likewise, with the cities here, I could conceivably improve parts of the city. For example, build city fortifications, where it would improve the fort level, but the mayor of the city will do that as well. I don't have to be the one to do it. In fact, if you look at Dublin here, it looks like something is being built. Yeah, the Christchurch is building church walls. Now that's just getting done by the Bishop of Christchurch, and I didn't have to do anything about it. I didn't have to put any money in or anything like that. That's one of the other advantages to having vassals, is they sort of take care of a lot of this stuff for you. But if we look at Kildare here, I can afford to build castle walls. And now that gives me a couple of benefits. The first is it increases my levy size. The second is it increases my income. And the third, it'll increase the fort level. And sorry, the dog just yipped at something here. I just want to make sure he's okay. Okay, sorry about that. But anyhow, in Kildare here, we'll build those castle walls because of the increased tax income and the larger levy. I mean, at our current size, it'd only be an extra couple of troops, but over time, that adds up. So get started building that. It's going to cost me 71 gold, and it's going to take 460 days to build. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. And now, we will gear up for war. We have a claim on Desmond here, and so we'll click on that, send it off, and raise our levies. Now, I'm not going to bother calling the Duke of Gwynedd in here. I don't think I need him, but I still conceivably could if I wanted to. I should have more than enough troops to take out this, though. And I'm just going to replace me. I don't want my king to be leading the charge. But we will. And the other thing too here is you'll notice that there's a river here, which means there may be a river crossing penalty into Desmond. There shouldn't be, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go into Ormond first and then into Desmond. Go see if we can't stomp him. Lower the speed down a little bit here. So you can see this is a slightly larger fight. We've got all of my levies versus his levies. I still have more battles than him, though, and I outnumber him by about, 600 troops. So it should still swing in my favor. There's also his city levies involved here, but city levies usually have a very difficult time standing up to castle levies, so... Slowly watch their morale take... Oh, now they're running away. His city levies are retreating, so they're going to run them down a little bit. And then everybody gets to charge in on the center here. His morale's going to start to drop quite quickly, because he's being pressed from 3 different sides. And now he's retreating. We'll follow him back into Desmond. While that's going on, I'm going to start doing a claim on Connacht. Now, if I were playing as Pagan, like if I had the Old Gods installed, there'd be another thing that I could do to make the conquest go a bit quicker. And as soon as I finish stomping this army, I'll show you. Okay, so we stomped that army. Now, with the Old Gods expansion, there is a... Where did those guys come from? Oh well, there's 50 of them. They're not going to do much. With the Old Gods expansion, one of the ambitions here, this is a new ambition that was introduced when Old Gods came out, and if you are Pagan, which you can only be if you have Old Gods, but if you are Pagan, by taking the Become a King ambition, it gives you an unlimited subjugation casus belli. So you would have a reason to go to war with every other ruler within the de jure area of whatever kingdom it is you want to create. So if I wanted to create the Kingdom of Ireland, I would have it, and I was Pagan, I would have a de jure claim on all of that, and I would have the subjugation casus belli in order to actually subjugate everybody. There's still a way you can do it as a Christian, but you have to create the kingdom first. So In order to do that, you need to control at least 50% of the kingdom. So right now I control 1, 2, 3, 4 counties, soon to be 5, out of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I need to control 7 counties total, which if I take Ormond and Ossory, I will. Then Desmond, once it finishes getting stomped. So that's my goal, at least in the next little while, is to take Ormond, well, take Ossory, possibly Connacht, because I'm stuck with that truce with Ormond for a little while. And then if I can form the Kingdom of Ireland, I could force them to become my vassals. And I could declare war on them to do so. So that's my longer-term plan here, though. So for right now, just keep the siege going and actually crank the speed up a little bit. With him only having 652 men, I'll select that unit, move them out, and just besiege with a slightly smaller force. I'm just going to reduce them in order to, or going to dismiss them. And you'll notice I moved them back into Thormund this time, but just in order to, so they're not costing me as much money. Because as soon as I take his county capital here, Tilatu asks, how can I best serve the Catholic faith? Be brave against our enemies, or be just to its children? So this gives her a chance of getting an 80% chance of getting brave and a 20% chance of getting zealous. This gives an 80% chance of just and a 20% of zealous. I'll take a quick look at her now, see what she has so far. So I'm not overly concerned about her marshal with being female. However, if somehow she does end up inheriting, the just trait can be very, very handy, because it increases the opinion of all your vassals by 10. And it'll increase her learning. So I'm going to go for be just. Oh, she got zealous, which isn't the end of the world. It makes the church like you more, makes other faiths like you a whole lot less, and she does get the martial boost. Siege is almost done. Now when we take Desmond, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Because I don't want to be giving it out to too many giving out territory to too many family members. Because oftentimes, like if we look at my brother here, he does have a claim on the Kingdom of Tara, which means that he could potentially go to war with me over that. He's not likely to. I mean, he's probably seen how I've stomped all the other independent counts. But he does have the potential to go to war with me. And if I were to install more family members around here, they would in turn have the potential to go to war with me as well. So, the siege is successful. I have a 100% war score. I've dragged Gintha of Godwin. Who do I have in my prison now? Looks like she's a minor branch of... Oh no, she's one of King Harold's daughters. Interesting. And looks like that is the current Earl's brother? Yes. So he's married to the current Earl's brother. Let's see if we can't ransom her. Doesn't care about her. Okay. In that case, we'll just go offer peace. Enforce our demands. We've usurped the county of Desmond from him. And now, the kingdom of Tara is even bigger, even though now the name is shrunk down to just that. Now, lower my army. So, if you remember what I said about how I don't want to give Desmond to somebody else who has a claim, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go into my court here. I'm going to look for people who already kind of like me, and who aren't. Okay, he's got a mediocre stewardship. You want to sort by opinion, because the more your vassals like you, generally speaking, the better it is. And find one that isn't female. So he's my uncle. He has a claim on Leinster, though, so I don't necessarily want that. Who are you? You have a decent stewardship. You're older, no kids. You like me, because we're both zealous. What do I think of him? I like him too. Let's make you an earl. Congratulations. Just going to do a quick check on Desmond here. Yeah, it's not a terribly valuable county, at least not right now. So we will go find him again. There you are. Grant a landed title. And that's my timer, so after I do this, I'm going to give him that county, and then we'll put a cut in. Okay, so now we've got Earl Flan of Dublin, and you see he adores me because I gave him a county. He loves me. I'm like best boss ever. And soon enough, he's probably going to go and get himself married. Probably should have done that before I actually sent him off, but that's okay. He'll find someone. And the other thing that this gives me is the opportunity to usurp the petty kingdom of Munster. Now, I can't afford to do it yet, but when I do, that'd let me go to war again with Duke Brian, which, did his dad die? His dad did die, which means the truce is over. That's one thing, is death resets all truces. So when somebody dies, they, any truces that you had with them are now null and void. But anyhow, that'll be for next episode. We still have Austria to take care of, and then we'll be moving on Ormond. And then we should have what we need to create the Kingdom of Ireland. It'll just be a matter of saving up some money and doing that, and we will be able to create the kingdom, which is our goal for this Let's Play. Anyhow, we will see you next time. Please don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and check out Arumba too, because he's flipping amazing. But check here too, because I kind of like what I'm doing too. Anyhow, you guys have a great day, and cheers.